Right, what up, people? Blimey. I've got a real lockdown look, and I'm going to shave all this. What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is Guna Eagle Eye. Let me try that again. What up, people? You're through to Chig Flicks, the channel for movies and music reviews. It just shows you I don't stream enough on this channel while I'm doing stupid shit like that. Apologies. I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are wherever you're locked down, maybe lockdown is easing, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please stay safe. And I hope you guys are well. Um, I I decided that this will be the time that I'm going to show some love and some attention to this channel. So I'm going to give you one of the following reviews. This one is an entire series on gangs of London. Now, this was something that I always wanted to do, really from the moment that I saw it advertised on Sky Atlantic. Um, this doesn't really have any properly big name actors, but if you're from Britain, you'll have a good idea exactly where they're from. Um, you know, you'll recognize the faces. Let's put it that way. You'd be like, I swear that guy was in the EastEnders, or I swear that guy was here, or I swear that guy was there, or I swear that guy was in this show. It's one of those sort of series. Gangs of London. What can I say about it? It was different to what I thought it would be. That's one thing I will definitely say. It was definitely different to what I thought it would be. The show starring, and I'm literally just getting the name up as I talk, because like I said, the names are not very big. Joe Cole, no, not that Joe Cole, the footballer. Joe Cole, the actor. I think he's been in Peaky Blinders a couple of times. And Sope Dirisu, are the ones that starred in this. Like I say, if you go through the casting list, I guarantee you don't recognize the name. It's just one of those. It's one of those series. But so it's a British series. Essentially, for anyone who doesn't know, this is supposed to be a take on what underground life is like in London in terms of gangs. And I'm not talking about gangs that you see on the States. I mean proper, like, well-paid, suited and booted, business life type gangs. And basically, the whole thing revolves around a family. Um, this particular family, they're essentially a drug cartel. I think that's the best way of putting it. Anyway, this whole thing revolves around the Wallace family and their empire, where they're basically involved in various different things. One of the main characters, I won't tell you who, dies straight away. And a lot of their kind of involvement in the rest of the series is flashbacks and little tidbits as to why this person is killed. In fact, that generally is the reason for the whole series. Like, it's not just a case of you're having an insight on these various different gangs. You are, but actually, what is central to the story is why did this person get killed? For what purpose? And especially when you see who it's by, you're like, okay, well, this doesn't make any sense. How could this even happen? So we get to kind of find out. There's loads of different characters involved, and loads of things that interweave, and a couple of things where you don't see them coming. Generally, I like stories like this. I like gritty British dramas, not just because I'm from Britain, but actually because when told well, I think generally it's very intriguing and very realistic. And those are the sort of things that you want to see. What you don't necessarily feel like you'll see is some kind of Marvel-esque action scenes. I will explain what I mean by that in a second. But generally, that's kind of what I was expecting coming into this film. Um, let's talk about performances before I talk about the action scenes. I think I've never seen a TV series that's had such a broad range of standard of acting. Um, First of all, there are 9 episodes in the season, which is weird. Stop at 9, but I guess they didn't have that much of a story to stretch it out. So they had 9 episodes of the season. And the guy who plays the main guy, I thought there's no other way of putting it. I thought it was a terrible choice. I thought it was a terrible. At no point did I find him compelling, convincing. At one point, he had the poshest of poshest accents. The next minute, he has this gritty, borderline Cockney accent, and you're just like, you clearly don't have a lot of experience of acting. And to me, actually, it would have been better served having someone with a bit of a Cockney accent in this, heading up the family. I think the well-spoken voice was kind of pretentious. I get what they were trying to go for, and that they had clearly gone from rags to riches, um, particularly the dad, and you can see that he's tried to raise his kids in a particular way. I don't want to give too much away about the dynamics of the family, but the dad has a son and a daughter. They are both vastly different. So, has two sons and a daughter, and actually all three are vastly different to each other. But I just feel like there was something about the dynamics for me personally that didn't work about this. In terms of, I first of all, I felt like his acting. I did not like it. Straight up, I thought he overacted in places. I thought it was the voice, the casting generally. I felt like I wasn't convinced by him as a head of a house, a head of a family. Um, the dad I like, I've seen him in so many other different things, so I know he's a good actor. The protagonist in this, I thought was fine. No, I wasn't overly impressed. I wasn't disappointed by him. I thought he played it very much with a straight bat. Um, I must admit, though, the thing that I think found the most off-putting was if you go into this, if you find this on a box set, maybe you're watching this on a Sky Go, maybe in America you come across it and you think to yourself, "What is this?" I would say go into it with the right mindset. I went into it with the wrong mindset, and perhaps that's why I'm left a little bit mixed on the results because I went into it thinking I'd see this gritty, geezerish type. Almost, do you know what? Maybe it's my fault. I kind of went into it the Pinky Blinders mindset. Don't. It's very much shot in the same way. You can see there's very much an influence of Peaky Blinders on this. Um, but man, the only way I can put it, the only way I can describe I won't say frustration, but the weirdness of this show was just watch the action scenes, especially that first action scene, the first proper action scene in the pub. You're like, oh, okay. Why is it being shot like that? Proper shaky cams. Um, it's like something out of the raid. I was like, oh, okay. I thought, okay, maybe it was just an isolated incident, but actually throughout the series, all action scenes are overly stylized, overly dramatic. Lots of shaky cam. If you're not a fan of shaky cam, you will hate this. Um, yeah, it kind of threw me for a second. Again, not please don't mistake me. I love a good Marvel film. I love a good action film. But I guess because I went into it with a mindset, God, this is going to sound dramatic, I know in itself, but because I went into it with the wrong mindset, I had to almost take myself out of the show and put myself back in with the correct mindset. Because actually, for me, the interest picked up around episode 5, 6. Because I kind of, in my mind, kind of episode 1, 2, 3, I more or less checked out. I was just, I was just, I was just watching it for the sake of watching it. Because I knew I was going to review it on here. A couple of you had already asked, so I thought I'll give it a stab. Um, by episode 4, I thought, okay. Episode 5, I was dialed back in. And then episode 6, I kind of wanted to see what would happen. And at 7, I really wanted to see what would happen. So it did get me back, but I think it's because I started in the wrong place. So what I would say is, if you're going to watch this season, don't think of it as a crime job. Just think of it and just keep an open mind in the way you approach it. And I think if you do that, I actually think you'll enjoy it more than I did. By the end, they clearly are setting up something for season 2. I don't think that's any surprise. I don't think I'm giving any spoilers away by saying that. They are clearly setting up something for season 2 in the hope that I suppose that they get renewed. And if they don't get renewed, I guess it could be left there fine. There's still a lot of questions at the end of the season. So it would make sense to set him up for season 2. All in all, I liked it, but it wasn't as enjoyable as I hoped it would be. And I think I kind of knew it wouldn't be, just based on the adverts. From the outset, I didn't like that lead actor. And then as I watched it, I liked him even less and less. So I think those are the things that kind of threw me, and I never recovered from as a result. But I would just say, listen, watch it, see what you think. You may have a vastly different approach and attitude to what I had. For me, if I had to give this season a mark, I'd personally give it a C plus, which sounds harsh, and probably is harsh. You know, if I had the right mindset, and like little nitty things weren't getting on my nerves, and I wasn't being so picky, I think this is probably a B. But for me personally, marking my own enjoyment, I'll give it a C plus. Just go see it, watch it. Let me know if you've watched it already. Let me know what you think it was. What did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. And until I see you again, which might be sooner than you think. Take care. I'm out.